guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to make press-on nails with the Ugly Duckling Tipeez nails that just came out on New Year's Day. I will also be using the Makartt UV LED lamp. It's a 48 watt lamp. And I will be using their foil transfers today just to create a design, freestyle a little bit. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to watch my first impression of the Ugly Duckling Tipeez, but I did give some comparisons of some other full coverage nails that I felt like they were close to, so I'm just going to show you really quick. The one I mentioned was the EC basket nails, but I'm also going to compare it to the BU nails as well as this infilling nail. All of those were purchased off of Amazon. So let's take a look and see at the BU nails. This is their version of stiletto, so I'm just gonna hold it up really quick and show you like in terms of shaping and just to all around 360 view what the nail looks like. First thing you will notice is the shaping. Ugly Duckling does call their nail, I think, pointed almond, and BU calls this stiletto. What I call a stiletto or consider one is something that's really sharp. So what Ugly Duckling has is a stiletto to me. And I love that kind of sharpness. So that's something I like. Also, you'll notice that the Ugly Duckling nail is a lot clearer than the other BU nail. And I do apologize because apparently I thought I was still recording and going and showing the comparisons on each nail, and I was not, but I will let you know when I pulled the nail out to compare it to EC basket, it was very similar. The only thing I noticed was once again the tip on that. I think Ugly Duckling still has the sharper tip, which I tend to love, but on like a EC basket nail, it's just not as sharp or whatever, which you wouldn't have to take a whole lot of work to reshape that. But if you were just looking, if you wanted a stiletto nail that you didn't have to shape or that you could just ship off to a customer, I think that the Ugly Duckling definitely could be an option for you. But if you have the time or you don't mind doing the shaping and you don't want to spend the extra money on Ugly Duckling, then it's totally fine to go with something like EC basket or even BU nails for that. Also with the infilling nails, I think that's what they're called, I purchased those off Amazon. I will say those aren't a sturdy nail to do press-ons with, or at least I tried to use them with like a soft gel surface. I tried to apply gel on them and put them on. I tested it out on 2 people and both times their tips broke off, like the free edge broke off. The nail was still there, like, you know, the adhesion with the gel, but the tips broke. So you are gonna need something to reinforce something like that, especially if you were going to use it for a gel surface kind of thing, or even if you were just going to make press-ons with it, you would want something to reinforce that. I personally probably will just use it as a practice tip, but just because I don't want to build it up. But if you are planning to use them, you can use them. But I did have 2 clients test them out for me. Luckily it was a free service, just for me to test it out, but yeah, I had issues with that. Alright, so now I'm just wiping off these press-on nails with acetone. I was also doing this to see if the nails fog up, because I noticed sometimes if you wipe down some of these soft gel nails or plastic nails with acetone or even alcohol, they fog up. So far this one did good. I did notice later on 2 or 3 of the nails that it looked like it had fogged up, but it could have just been me, maybe too much pressure on it or something. I will say I'm not sure if wiping off with acetone is a necessary step. I usually would just take full coverage nails out of the package and start painting on them right away, and I didn't have problems with peeling or chipping, but I know some people mentioned that they have. Like, I'm in other press-on nail groups, so I've heard that be an issue. And one thing you could also do is use something like Young Nails Protein Bond to do a layer of that on your nail and then start jumping into painting and decorating. Or you can take the time to buff off the nail, which that's not the method I really prefer because it's just more dust. So I don't like to do that. I honestly prefer to just jump into painting or use the Young Nails Protein Bond to ensure everything works together. But yeah, just some tips. But I know some people wipe down with acetone. It was a tip I learned in the press-on group, so I thought I would try it. So right here, what you're just seeing is me just match up or try to match colors that I think would go with this foil gel or foil transfer design. That's typically how I start out a design. I'll think of a pattern or what colors I want to use, or if it's a certain stone I want to use, and then I start finding colors that I think would go with that. And you know, just kind of freestyle, do my thing. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the OPI gel polish, but it's something that I use on myself and my clients and for plenty of other things like, you know, just practice nails or press-on nails. I love the OPI gel, and it has nothing to do with, you know, just because it's a popular brand or anything. I think if you're new to using gel, or even if you're not new to using gel, but if you struggle with like the thick gel applications where it seems like just lumpy or you're losing your shape or something, I like the OPI gel color because it goes on thin. And the room that I usually paint in is very cold. So even when it's cold, the polish is cold, it still does well. For me, I don't have to deal with a lot of separation, and I'm just able to spread the gel on thin and evenly and not really have to worry about losing the shape so much at the end. So I do love the OPI gel brand. It is a little bit more expensive. I think they have two sizes. The smaller size might be around like $14, and then the bigger size, I believe, it could run you anywhere from like $17.99 to maybe $19.99. But it is the polish that I use the most. I have used other brands such as Gelish, a little bit of Kiara Sky, Wave Gel, you know, Couture Gel, C&D polish, D&D as well, Tammy Taylor, Vitro or Vetro. I've used a couple of different brands, but I do love OPI the most, and that is the brand that I have put a lot of my money into so far when it comes to gel polish. But I do love a couple others. I'm just saying that if you find out that you do have an issue with painting something on too thick with gel polish, or you're just not experienced with it, I love it. However, I will add though that I have the OPI lamp. It's like a white lamp that's circular shaped kind of, and it has a handle at the top. I'll have to maybe post a link or a picture to it. I purchased it maybe a couple months ago when there was a deal on the Skyline Beauty website, and I don't know if I like the lamp that I'm referring to, this white OPI lamp. It looks nice. It looks very cool, but the issue that I'm having sometimes is getting the thumbs to dry. And inside of the OPI lamp, they have a ramp. They have a place where you put your fingers in the bottom, and then there's like a ramp where you're supposed to put your thumb at. But it feels like no matter how many times my clients put their thumbs in or try to like tilt their thumb up, I still have issues sometimes where I'll think that it's dry, and then I go in to do my top coat and everything slides off. Well, not everything, but a part of it slides off, and it's so frustrating. And it's something I read on the reviews before purchasing it, or maybe even after purchasing it. But no, I think I saw it before purchasing it. But I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt, because you never know with these reviews what kind of viewpoint they're coming from. You know, if it's a beginner, or if it's someone who's experienced, or is it the client maybe didn't do it right, or just anything. So sometimes I like to test stuff out on my own, and I encourage you guys to do the same. But just my experience with working on clients and myself, I was having that issue with OPI a little bit. It was just a hit or miss. So that's just something to possibly note or consider. I'm not going to discourage you from buying it. I'm just saying be careful with the thumbs on OPI lamp. It's the white lamp. If you're curious, the stands that I am holding the press-ons to, they were purchased likely from AliExpress. anywhere from between like $1 to $3. I have seen them on other websites for higher. I guess if it's shipping faster, you know, then it's probably worth it. But if you have the time to wait for these kind of stands, I think AliExpress will do you just fine. There's plenty of sellers on there that have these for a good price. So I have several different kinds of these press-on stands. And as for the blue stuff, I purchased it off Amazon for like $3. It's like a pack you get. I want to say it's called Loctate or something. I'm not sure. I will try to post the link or the information there. I'm pretty sure if you follow other people who do press-ons, you've seen it before. I first learned about it through my school, my nail school. We used to use it to practice nails on. And then later on, I ended up purchasing some, and I've also seen it around in the nail community. So it is pretty good. It lasts a long time, you know, with stuff. And I find that if it's not sticky, just kind of pull it apart a couple times and roll it in your hand and you'll be just fine. Because I've had these same blue ones on for a while. I probably should switch them out. But I just wanted to get a quick video up really quick. I will say that before starting this service, something I would do is buff or file off the very tip part. There's like a little edge part that sticks up. That's something I would normally do. Or like, especially if I'm selling the press-ons to someone, that's something I would have covered in like step 1 in the very beginning. You can go in towards the end lightly with a buffer to fix it, and that's what I do with mine. But once again, these ones are just for me. It's just for the sake of the video to get something out. But if you happen to forget to do it, you could just lightly buff it off. I kind of buff it more of a downward motion to get it off the nail. And you should just be fine. You should be fine without having to retouch up anything or the paint. And this is after you put on top coat. After you do your layers and your top coat, then you can lightly go and buff it off. I want it to be clear about that so you don't mess up your nail. So since we are watching me polish, I wanted to mention with the OPI colors, you do need an average of 2 coats. I find out, or that I've been finding, there are certain colors though that you are gonna need like 3 or 4 layers on. They might give you a hard time just with getting that good coverage. And that's something I experienced a little bit with that green right there. But I ended up still just doing 2. I didn't do 3 for it because this is just a temporary set for the sake of the video. But yes, for lighter colors, actually even with some darker colors, you might need an extra coat. Because when I'm using white, I think it's OPI Alpine Snow, as well as, what's the black one? I can't think of the black color right now. That'll come to my head. But their black polish that I have, you do need to do like 3 coats. I think it's called Black Onyx. Yep, I'm looking at it right now. It's Black Onyx. I've had to do like 3 colors or 3 layers on clients' nails before just to get a good coverage on that. So that is something to note. But once again, I still love the OPI gel color brand. So as I'm wrapping up with these final layers of the first layer of polish, just want to talk about the Makartt lamp really quick. What I've noticed, it is very sensitive. So you won't have any issues with having to put your hand at a certain place or anything for it to turn on. The sensor works just fine, which is what I like so far about it, as well as a few other things I'm noticing, but that's something I noticed right away. It is sensitive. If you're curious on how long I'm curing this for, it's going to be for 60 seconds for the OPI gel layers that I'm putting on. For the others, the only thing I cure over a minute, I believe, in this video will be the foil gel. Once I get to that, I cure that for about 1.5 minutes, I believe. But everything else, I was able to get away with doing it for 1 minute, and it worked just fine. So I am gonna let the rest of this video just kind of play through. I figured I would try to let it be in real-time speed for most of the video, just because there are people who are beginners, or maybe if they're not beginners, they just kind of want to take their time and watch the video. So for most of it, I do record at least just one hand with the step. I do skip out on, after I do like a first demonstration or two of foils, I skip that part of showing the other nails just because, you know, it's a bit repetitive. But hope you enjoy the rest of this. I am going to circle back towards the last 5 or 6 minutes of the video to just give my final thoughts on everything and observations that I noticed throughout the service. But I appreciate you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any other suggestions or maybe some products you want me to try out. I am happy to go on a hunt and look for them. I do have some other products coming up that I'll be featuring very soon as they start to arrive. But yeah, hope you enjoy this video. Let me know if you have any questions. I am doing my best to interact in the comments, so feel free to post your questions or comments there. Okay, so this is the end result that I came up with. For application, I ended up just pushing back my cuticles, removing the shine, dehydrating my nail beds, and then I did roughen up the inside of the press-on nail, or I don't know if I should call it the press-on nail, but for the sake of this, it's press-on. It was the Ugly Duckling Tipeez, but I did that and applied it with the KDS glue. Pretty sure you've heard of that or seen it. I ended up putting a layer of glue on my natural nail and a little bit on the inside of the press-on, and then just kind of rocking it on. So I like them. They feel good. A couple of things I wanted to point out is the Stay Put jelly from Daily Charm. I have talked about it before. I do love that stuff. If you noticed when I was putting on these stones, they were not moving. They were not sliding. I think sometimes with builder gels or any of these gummy products, you tend to have sliding and you have to flash cure in between to make it work. This one I did not. You did see me flash cure for the chain, and that's just because it's long and it kind of was tugging as I was working. So I flash cured that, but if it was anything else, I wouldn't have flash cured it. It was just the chain and how long it was. But everything stayed in place. It worked. I've been using it for a couple weeks now, maybe a month almost now, actually. And I like it, and it's been holding my stones together. So I think that's worth it. You've heard me talk about the Makartt foiled art gel. It is really good. Well, sorry, nail art foil glue. Let me get the name right. It is really good, and whether you're rubbing it just with your finger or you're using the silicone tool, I had no issues with it. It came out great. Another product I mentioned or was using in there was the Zulay's bling, and I just did that last minute to add on. These stones, I've been using Zulay's for a while, and it is definitely one of my favorites as well for securing stones and bling. So yeah, for the Tipeez, I do love them. I will give them a thumbs up for that. I'll put the link in the bottom. But so far, so good. Also, this lamp. This is my second time using it. I used it last night to apply the Tipeez on the nail using sculpting gel. And I found the curing times to be the same with like any of my other products that I use. So like, let's say with OPI, I typically cure this for 30 seconds to a minute, and I was able to do the same with this stuff. Well, for this I did it for a minute, but I like even other stuff like the Makartt foil gel. I cured that for a minute and a half, and any of my other lamps, that's the same time I would cure for. Same with the Daily Charm 5-in-1 strengthening gel that you saw me using, and the Après top coat. Everything was the same. The only thing that is a learning curve for me is this is actually like tap motion. There are no buttons to press. So that's a learning curve for me because I'm so used to pressing down on all of the lamps I've had, but I actually do love it. It's really cool. And this inside is removable. It's magnetic. I don't know why I thought that slid out. But yeah, that's cool. There's a lot of space in here. That's something my daughter had noticed when she was like looking at my nail stuff. She likes to play with it. I am able to put 2 of my hands in at the same time if I really wanted to. I mean, the thumbs kind of, you might want to hold them together at your side, but yeah, I think it could be possible if you really wanted to, or someone had maybe average or small hands, whatever that is. I don't know what average size hands are, but you could do it if you really wanted to. So, oh, and the other thing I noticed about this lamp that I like is the outlet for it is like a small, let me grab it. It's just a regular plug like this. And I like that because a lot of my lamps, they have a brick on them, which is annoying. It's either they have a brick or the outlet, like the plug for it has a big thing, and then it, like if you're using like a surge protector, it blocks a lot of the outlets, or it's just heavy at the end of it. So I love and appreciate that this is just a standard plug-in. You don't have to worry about it fitting in your outlets there, or just having a heavy brick to carry around. So that's something I love. Also, when we talk about the thumbs, I didn't have any issues with the thumbs curing. They cured just fine. I didn't have to do it separately. Although it still is recommended that you do them separately, I didn't have to. I was able to do it all at the same time, and I like it. So far, thumbs up. I decided not to do the unboxing of this. Well, in one of my videos, which I'll probably post soon, I did just kind of quickly pull everything out of the box and show you what was in it, which is just the lamp and the plug-in, and then you get the directions. But I felt like I'd rather use the lamp first and then talk to you guys about it, or whatever, before I tell you anything about it. So far I've used it twice. I'm liking it. I plan to continue using it. I do have a client later that is coming for Après nail services. So I am going to test this out in Après as well. So far we've used it for Tipeez Ugly Duckling with sculpting gel. We have used it just for curing polishes on plastic nails. So later today, we will try out the Après system to just see how it cures in that and what the curing times are, if I need to change them up with that. But so far, thumbs up. I will keep you posted on this.